All right, hey, this is Current Events, and I wanted to go ahead and bring another Real Talk, Real People to you guys. As we're looking at, this is the Zuckerberg testimony highlights. So just wanted to let a couple of highlights play, kind of give a little bit more context and background to what exactly they're talking about. As you guys know, there was a congressional hearing with Mark Zuckerberg regarding his LIbra currency, as well as some other issues regarding political ads from international actors, aka other states, other governments, as well as an issue of redlining that Facebook was a part of, as well as other unsavory things. Basically, Mark had to go ahead and answer for his company. So, as you're going to see here, it's about 7 minutes. Like I said, I'll be stopping a little bit through to kind of explain things a bit better and going ahead and moving forward with just giving some explanations for you guys. All right. But this was like 6 hours. So to kind of fit this in 7 minutes it's amazing. This was a 6-hour testimony. So let's get into it. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share. We're going to do this like right now.
You know, you can't lie to Congress. When you were compared to Mr. Trump, did you take that as a compliment? No, don't answer. It was a joke. Okay, no.
Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Facebook. This is Mr. Zuckerberg's first appearance before this committee, but I believe that Mr. Zuckerberg needs no introduction.
Thank you, Chairwoman Waters, Ranking Member McHenry, and members of the committee. There are more than 1 billion people around the world who don't have access to a bank account, but could through mobile phones if the right system existed. That includes more than 14 million people right here in the US. Being shut out of the financial system has real consequences for people's lives, and it's often the most disadvantaged people who pay the highest price. I believe that this problem can be solved, and LIbra can help. I have a few more.
All right. So what is LIbra? LIbra is Facebook's, there's Calibra, which is the greater association. Then you have Libra, which is an association within Calibra. Libra is Facebook's answer to cryptocurrency. It is their cryptocurrency. They believe with their platform of over billions of people with Facebook, if they get into the cryptocurrency game, they can totally change the game. As you can tell, or as you will see further in this testimony, Congress isn't too hyped about that because essentially they're making another currency. Now, what is the currency going to be backed on? Is it going to be backed on the US dollar? Is it going to be backed on the euro? Is it going to be on the yen? You know, what is it going to be backed on? It's not going to say it in here, so I'll just tell you guys, the Libra cryptocurrency is going to be backed by a basket of currencies. Dollar, yen, euro, stuff like that. It's not just going to be the US dollar. And apparently it's supposed to be a dollar for dollar, dollar in, dollar out. As the United States is pretty worried because they feel it's going to be a national security concern if they allow Libra to come to fruition. What is it going to do to the dollar? So you're going to see that. But again, Libra is a cryptocurrency that Facebook's making, and it will allow, if you're broke, but you got a Libra, then you can still navigate this economic landscape. But that may provide a whole host of opportunities and problems, as you'll hear from the Congress people.
Things to say, but for the richest man in the world to come here and hide behind the poorest people in the world and say that's who you're really trying to help. You're trying to help those for whom the dollar is not a good currency. Drug dealers, terrorists, tax evaders.
Our last hearing on LIbra, for example, was a moment when members of Congress on this dais actually compared that technology of LIbra, to the terrorist attacks of September 11th.
Will the gentleman yield?
Look, I have my own
Making
qualms
a
about
reference,
Facebook
nice comment.
and
Will the
LIbra.
gentleman yield?
The time belongs to the gentleman from North Carolina.
Thank you for taking the bait.
Bill forgot to answer it, but let's be clear. You're going to be making powerful burglary tools and letting your business partners commit the burglary. You are going, with all the power of Facebook, to try to create a new currency. You're going to call it the Libra, but you're the person behind it. That's why I call it the Zuckbuck. You are going to create it and then say, oh, it's our business partners. Your white paper says your business partners are going to use your tool to have anonymous accounts, and then you have the gall to come here and say you're going to follow all the know your customer. How do you know your customer with an anonymous account?
Now, what is he talking about there? Basically, he's talking about Facebook wants to allow you to make anonymous payments to whoever you want to via the LIbra association. So Facebook is saying that they are not a part of, they have a delegate in the LIbra association, but they do not run LIbra. LIbra will be run by essentially 10 to maybe 10 companies, 10 to 20 big companies are going to run the LIbra association. They have delegates on the LIbra association. And this doesn't go into it, but I think the requirement was you got to have at least 10 million in cash or something like that to be, or 100 million in cash to become part of the LIbra association. I think it was 10 million though. So the regulators, the government regulators are a bit, they worry about that because it's like, who are these people? Because Mark was saying he didn't know who was in the LIbra association, which is bullshit. Of course he knows. Delegates wise, he doesn't know how many of them are women, how many of them are different ethnicities, doesn't know any of that. And they were grilling him on that. So obviously they don't want this to counteract with the United States dollar, because dollar is, that's our currency, right? So you got a lot of that going on. Also, you got going on the fact that, like I said, anonymous payments, and if they're anonymous payments, how are you going to tax the people? So they think it's going to have tax implications, murderers, like you said, the worst. It's basically what they use Bitcoin for on the dark web. They think that's what's going to enable billions of people to use it. And how are they going to track these people if they're using the Zuckbuck LIbra?
Plan on doing no fact checking on political ads.
Chairwoman, our policy is that we do not fact check politicians' speech. And the reason for that is that we believe that in a democracy, it is important that people can see for themselves what politicians are saying.
You announced recently that the official policy of Facebook now allows politicians to pay to spread disinformation.
There's imminent risk of harm.
Could I run ads targeting Republicans in primaries saying that they voted for the Green New Deal?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Would I be able to run advertisements on Facebook targeting Republicans in primaries saying that they voted for the Green New Deal? I mean, if you're not fact-checking political advertisements, I'm just trying to understand the bounds here. What's fair game?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I think.
So you don't know if I'll be able to do that?
I think probably.
Do you see a potential problem here with a complete lack of fact-checking on political advertisements?
Well, Congresswoman, I think lying is bad, and I think if you were to run an ad that had a lie, that would be bad.
You won't take down lies, or you will take down lies? I think it's just a pretty simple yes or no.
Have you learned that you should not lie?
Congresswoman, I would disagree with the characterization of
Well,
that lie.
you say you went to the European regulators and you said that it will not link, it will not, that it will be impossible. And yet, 18 months later, it happened. And you were fined for that.
Congresswoman,
So let's continue. I hope that you learned something about that, about not lying.
So,
Okay. So the whole lying thing, basically, Mark said that Facebook will not move forward with LIbra if he's not in accordance with the United States regulations and laws. Only if the United States Congress allows him to move forward with LIbra will he do that. Here's the thing. Facebook and LIbra are two separate entities. So whether Facebook agrees or not, Libra is still going to move forward. So the Congress is like, you're bullshitting. What are you talking about? You clearly, Libra is its own thing. Libra is going to keep doing this whether you agree or not. Now, he did agree to say that if Libra moves forward, he will take his delegation out of Libra. Facebook out of Libra. So basically, as the guy was saying earlier, he's creating an apparatus for this. Whether he's in control or not, it's going to keep moving forward. The United States government is wary about getting to the cryptocurrency game. They don't have the trust in Facebook, just like most American people don't have trust in Facebook. All these data breaches, the selling of your data, the stalking and the monitoring you, everything. Facebook is definitely not the people's choice in engaging into cryptocurrency for the United States. So you can see the inherent distrust that the Congress has for Facebook. Now we're about to get into the redlining.
Let me ask you this. Do you know what redlining is?
Yes.
Okay, then you should have known better. And maybe if you had real diversity or inclusion on your team, somebody in that room would have said what you were doing when you looked at what you were doing in the housing, how you were redlining or using zip codes and to eliminate people from getting information. I think we should probably phrase it a little differently, that you work with civil rights work is because it's a result of the number of lawsuits that you've had. NAACP. Do you know what percentage of African Americans are on Facebook in comparison to majority folks? Do you know what the percentages are?
People using the Facebook.
Yes. Do you know what the percentages are for African Americans?
I don't, because we don't collect the races of people.
Well, it came out in a report and in the Pew Research Center that was sent to you. So maybe you just don't read a lot of things that deal with civil rights or African Americans.
Libra, the currency.
Okay. So just a little background on that. Basically, the algorithm was somehow, whenever new homes were up in the area, whether you were black or... Okay, this is the allegation. That basically when homes were becoming available in certain areas, they would show for anyone that basically wasn't black to make them aware that there was homes or places to be moved into in certain areas. So it was almost redlining black users from being aware that there were open new homes that they could purchase in certain areas in the counties, states, and areas they were in. So it would show listings for black, high density black areas, but other areas like, okay, so for example, if you live on Fletcher Fowler, right? And they just built a new apartment complex over in New Tampa, or Tampa Palms, New Tampa, Wesley Chapel, that area. It wouldn't show you the new listings on Facebook. If advertisers were advertising, hey, we got this new development here, we got a new place here, move here. For people over in Fletcher Fowler, if they were black, or African American rather, whatever the fuck, it wouldn't show these up. Now, if there was a new apartment complex built over in Tampa, more of the downtown area of Tampa, depending on what it is, or in the surrounding Tampa area where there's like a high concentration of black folks, it would show those, but it wouldn't show the new places over in New Tampa or in the predominantly white areas. So it was redlining the blacks that were using Facebook to buy homes and advertisements and stuff like that to keep them in a certain area. Fucking diabolical.
In the wallet, LIbra.
Yes, LIbra.
So it's like me having my money in Wells Fargo Bank.
You could think about it that way. Although we're not a bank, we're not applying for a bank charter. I think that the right analogy.
But that's the problem.
This is a
Mr. Zuckerberg, that's the problem. That's what we're facing here. And this was the same place where I ran into kind of trying to understand what this thing is that you all are creating. And I appreciate creation. I like it to stay in America and not go to Switzerland.
Mr. Zuckerberg, as you know, Facebook can be sometimes an unkind place, both toward my personal appearance and today apparently toward your haircut. But I just, as a mother of a teenage boy, I just want to say thanks for modeling the shortcut. You've got about 15,000 contractors watching murders, stabbings, suicides, other gruesome, disgusting videos for content moderation, correct?
Congressman, yes, I believe that that's correct.
According to one report I have, and this is straight out of an episode of Black Mirror, these workers get 9 minutes of supervised wellness time per day. That means 9 minutes to cry in the stairwell while somebody watches them. Would you be willing to commit to spending 1 hour a day for the next year watching these videos and acting as a content monitor and only accessing the same benefits available to your workers?
Congresswoman, we work hard to make sure that we give good benefits to all the folks who are doing this.
Mr. Zuckerberg, reclaiming my time, I would appreciate a yes or a no. Would you be willing to act as a content monitor? To have that life experience?
I'm not sure that it would best serve our community for me to spend that much
reclaiming
time.
my time. Mr. Zuckerberg,
I spend a lot of
reclaiming my time. Mr. Zuckerberg, are you saying you're not qualified to be a content monitor?
No, Congresswoman, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
My first question is simple but very thought-provoking. How realistic a portrayal was the social network?
All right. So there you have it. So basically what the last lady was talking about with the content monitoring, that they pay these people anywhere from like $12 to $15 to go ahead at Facebook, to go ahead and watch be content monitors. So any disgusting, child porn, fights, gruesome stuff that people post, these are the people that see this stuff and quickly delete it off. So basically, Facebook has a policy where they give you 9 minutes of supervised kind of decompression time to kind of, chill out from what you've been seeing all day, because they know it can be damaging to the psyche. And what wasn't in there, which was in the 6 hours that I watched, was that some people were having sort of PTSD from all the negative images that they were seeing. And Mark was saying that they spend, in some places they pay $15 an hour minimum wage or something like that to $20 in certain areas, and that he would not be a content monitor. He would not do it because he doesn't. Doesn't want to be made susceptible to the type of stuff that's on the platform. So she was just trying to see if he was willing to go ahead and do kind of the worst job that, in her opinion, that Facebook runs. So, he kind of wiggled out of that. I watched the 6 hours. He did not agree that he would do that for an hour a day. So that was kind of the highlights from the whole Facebook 6 hour congressional testimony. So no need to watch 6 hours. We broke it down in, I don't know, maybe less than 20 minutes. So, hey. All right. But anyway, current events. This is current events. Real talk, real people. Always doing more content. Always doing more. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Do you agree? Or do you guys think Libra is a great thing? Do you think Libra is the cryptocurrency that America needs to back? Do you think that it's one of those situations where, well, hey, if we don't get into it now, China's going to do it? But is Libra the one to do that? Should we focus on, XRP? Should we focus on Bitcoin? Or should we focus on Ethereum, other cryptos, and things of that nature? Also, what do you guys think about the redlining practices Facebook was involved in, and do you think the workers should get more than 9 minutes of decompression time with a job that is so mentally, potentially damaging as being a content monitor? All these questions and more. Don't forget to keep it real. This is Real Talk, Real People. Ow!